you've ever heard of a thing called fluoridation? Fluoridation of water?
Yes, I have heard of that, Jack, yes. Yes.
Well, do you know what it is?
No. No, I don't know what it is now.
Do you realize that fluoridation is the most monstrously conceived and dangerous communist plot we have ever had to face?
We consume it every day with the reassurance from our health authorities that it is doing us good. The truth is, fluoride is a poison, and adding it to our drinking water is an evolving social experiment started 40 years ago. Now one of the world's top fluoride experts has issued a grim warning about what it could be doing to our health, and that of unborn children. Yet as Frank Pengello reports, you'll get a different spin from dentists and health bureaucrats.
Hey guys, this is Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth. It is Sunday, June 5th, and we are currently right out front of Nathan Phillips Square today to talk to you about fluoride in the drinking water. Now, many of you may think about fluoride as that stuff that you rinse your teeth with at the dentist and the stuff that is healthy for your teeth. Now, mind you, calcium fluoride in small amounts can be beneficial to your teeth. However, we are talking about sodium fluoride, which is a toxic, poisonous chemical. It is literally the byproduct, the waste of what you get from things like nuclear weapon productions, uranium and aluminum production, some fertilizer productions. It's actually the main ingredient that you'll find in rat poison, and if you are doubting the toxicity of it, just go check out a tube of toothpaste and you will see that children under the age of 6 should not use it without the supervision of their parents, and that if even just a small amount is ingested, they should contact poison control immediately. Sodium fluoride will literally attack the central nervous system. It goes after the thyroid gland. It goes after the pineal gland. It will attack the liver, the kidneys. It goes after bone marrow, and it will actually disrupt white blood cell and stem cell production. And perhaps more shockingly, it's been linked to reducing fertility and also creating a passive state of mind in the person who is ingesting it, which amounts to nothing less than a total dumbing down of society.
Well, it's forced medication for the masses, and there are more than 1,000 doctors and scientists around the world who, like Professor Shashila, condemn what's going on.
The problem with adding medicine to water is an obvious one of consent, that people can't give their informed consent, which is a basic of medical ethics.
Now, why would governments want to do something like this? Well, the first time we saw anything like this was in countries like communist Russia and Nazi Germany. The forced medication of the population was done without the knowledge or consent of any of the people, and when eventually pressed on it, they are just told that it is for the benefit of their teeth. Meanwhile, the real truth of the matter is sodium fluoride has been linked to enamel fluorosis, and in fact, it's particularly dangerous with infants. From birth to age 4 is one of the most crucial times in a human being's life for the development of the brain. So when mothers are mixing baby formula with tap water, it can increase the chances of the child developing attention deficit disorder, amongst many other problems.
The American Dental Association warns against using fluoridated water to mix baby formula.
Just last week, Brian Law of Press for Truth, along with members of We Are Change Toronto, went down to the Toronto Water Facility Treatment Plant to ask the tough questions about fluoride in the water.
Right, we have 2 intakes that are roughly over 2 kilometers into the lake. They then Y into 1 intake, which is over 1 kilometer from shore. This will then flow into our screen chamber. The screening will remove the particles that are larger than roughly that big, twigs, debris such as that. We'll then enter our raw water pump facility. This will then pump water all the way up to our mixing chambers. At this point, our coagulant is added. At this point, pre-chlorination is added. Then flow into a mixing chamber. Proper mixing is essential to efficient, effective water treatment. We'll then flow into one of our 6 sedimentation basins. What will happen here is that the heavier particles will be removed naturally because they will settle to the bottom of the basin. Water will then overflow into the conduit. From the settled water conduit will then flow into one of 20 filters on the east, or one of 20 on the on the west. So these two conduits will then join into one, roughly here. This will then flow into the reservoir where we add our disinfectant and fluoride. Water will then travel through the reservoir to this point here, which is our outfall. At our outfall, we will then add sodium bisulfate to reduce the chlorine residual and ammonia to change the chlorine residual from a free, which is an incredibly effective disinfectant, but it doesn't have a long shelf life, to a combined chlorine residual, which is still a decent disinfectant, but you now have an incredibly long shelf life, and you will have chlorine at your final user, which we are mandated by the ministry to provide. From this point, it will flow via gravity to one of three areas. We have our high lift pumps, which will send water to the city via these lines. We have our Scarborough pumps, which will send water to the city via this line. We can also feed John Street and Parkdale pumping station via gravity. Whenever we can abuse Mother Nature and use her for free, we will.
Is the part where the chemicals are added, is that open to public as well?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Hi. Is this where all the machinery is controlled from?
From here, so it's not open for the public.
You answer the phones, right?
No, we are answering the phones, but we are monitoring the process, water treatment process.
Could we get a look at the screens?
No, sorry, because this is not included in the public, the doors open plan.
Oh,
sorry. Yeah.
okay. All right.
So this is the brain of the plant. So we control the plant on automatic computer control system. And also we have another option. If the computer control system fails, we switch back to manual control.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. Sorry.
Bye.
Bye-bye. The solid waste goes to the contractor. They take it away and they use in farming or fertilizers industry.
So they use the solid waste from the water treatment for fertilizer?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, that can be used, but it's the contractors take it out.
And at what stage of the filtration process is the fluoride put in?
That is at the last stage, when the water goes to the distribution system.
So after it's been filtered?
After it's been filtered and yes.
And which building is that done in? Is that done down here, or is
No,
it?
it's
or is
not
it done up
building.
there?
That is the diffuser, the fit system. The fluoride through the fluoride pumps, it feeds to the diffuser. Diffuser takes it to the application point where it should be mixed.
And that's not open for
No,
tour
it's
today?
not open, because those are, as I said, the chemical application points, and some sensitive equipment are not open to the public because if some people doesn't know how to just. If you watch in the filter gallery, the kids are playing with the filters consoles. They think that's a PlayStation. You know what I mean?
Well, I've heard that the sodium fluoride is actually very dangerous. I mean, after all, it is the main ingredient that gets used in rat poison.
The chemicals are dangerous, but you have to be well experienced, trained how to work with it.
And how long you been working for the water treatment plant?
Well, I'm working for 25 years.
What is the concentration of the fluoride that goes into the tap water?
Well, that should be around less than 0.7, 0.8
Per
liter, milligram per liter.
That seems kind of high, actually.
No, it's not. Well, based on the Ministry of Environment and Ministry of Health, there is a requirement we even maintain below that. But a fluoride application issue is something that there are a lot of debates on it. As long as the legislation is working on it, we have a commitment to it.
Does the Ministry of Health do inspections here on a regular
Yes,
basis?
but for this kind of question, you better get in touch with the higher management level. I am just a plant technician, and sorry, I have to go.
Fluoridation of water here in Toronto is not necessary because it's based on sort of outdated dental hygiene practices. Like today, our dental hygiene is much better than it was 50 years ago when they started putting fluoride in the water. So it's no longer necessary. We have fluoride in our toothpaste. We get fluoride from normal dental hygiene practice that we have here now. So it's just not necessary anymore. You can see communities all around the country, like Calgary, which recently got rid of fluoride in the water. We're looking at it's just no longer necessary. Why should we be getting medicated in the water? The government doesn't medicate us in any other way except with fluoride.
We are literally physically under attack, not only from the chemicals in our food, the chemicals in our air, but also the poisons in the water that we are drinking. Now, this all plays into a much larger plan, a much bigger agenda, which is known as the eugenics movement. Now, one of the largest organizations that are pushing this movement is the United Nations, through various programs such as Codex Alimentarius, Agenda 21, and the fluoridation of the public drinking water. The main goals of this eugenics movement is to literally reduce the global population. Now, there's only a few ways that you can do that. You can either increase the death rate, or you can decrease the birth rate, or a combination of the two. And that's what we are seeing happening now on a global scale all over the place. However, the good thing is that we do live in a time now where alternative information other than what the government is telling us is readily available to us, and more people all over the world are beginning to wake up to the dangers of ingesting sodium fluoride. The city of Calgary has actually just recently put a stop to having fluoride in the drinking water. Their city council voted 10-3 in support of this, and now that city is saving upwards of $750,000 a year by implementing these changes. Other towns like Waterloo, Ontario, and Moncton, New Brunswick are taking huge steps towards getting the fluoride out of the public drinking water. So it is encouraging and inspiring to know that change can happen on the grassroots level.
49.7% of voters said yes, maintain fluoridation. 50.3% said no, it's time to stop.
More than 30,000 people waded in on the debate. In the end, the difference was just 195 votes in favor of stopping the fluoridation of Waterloo water.
Well, I was pro-fluoride. I've said yes to fluoride. So for me, it's up to the citizens, and that's what the referendum's all about.
Fluoridation started in 1966. The debate was intense.
This new council will send direction to the region of Waterloo at their next meeting, which will be in November, that we would like to have the fluoride removed. And this is what we have talked about from day one, that we would follow the wishes of this community.
Now, as we have seen, change is possible on the municipal level. However, it often is a long, slow, tedious process. So there are a number of things that you can do in the meantime to protect yourself and your family. There are a number of products on the market that will filter out the fluoride from your drinking water. But remember, it's not necessarily enough to just not drink it. Our skin, being the largest organ our body has, will actually absorb these chemicals every time you take a shower. So there are attachments available that you can get to deal with that as well. Life is an incredibly amazing, mysteriously wonderful thing. And protecting this temple that we currently occupy is one of the most important things you can do. So remember to educate yourself about the things that you are ingesting. Stick to wholesome, healthy, organic foods. Drink fresh spring water, and you will live a healthy life.